Okay, guys, hello. Not quite our last press conference of the season, so we've still got another game after this one. Quite a significant one. Similar kind of procedure actually to before we played Aston Villa. You may or may not remember that we had Matthew Ashton, who is the Director of Public Health for Liverpool, open up our press conference. And thank you to all of you who spread that message. It had a positive impact. A lot of you on this press conference have a very wide reach in terms of being able to spread a message to our supporters in particular and people in the city. We're doing something similar today. Today it will be the Chief Constable of Merseyside Police, Andy Cook, who's going to open up our pre-match press conference. To my knowledge, we've never had a Chief Constable at one of our press conferences before, but since the restart of the season, the club has been all too aware of the risk that coronavirus presents to the communities of Merseyside, and we've been working alongside Merseyside Police, Liverpool City Council, and the British Shankly supporters group to reach out and ensure people don't put themselves or their loved ones at risk of the virus. Today, Chief Constable Andy Cook is here to remind us all of the very real risk, and we'd invite Andy, if he's with us, or the Chief Constable, sorry, to kick off our press conference. I think we can see you there, Chief Constable. If you could unmute yourself, and then the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Just like to start by saying I'm not here just as the Chief Constable of Merseyside Police today. I'm here as a father, a husband, son and brother who cares about my family and friends and the potential impact that a second spike of coronavirus could have on the people of Merseyside. This pandemic's not gone away, and since the restart of the Premier League, we've worked relentlessly with Liverpool Football Club, Public Health and Spirit of Shankly to remind people of the genuine dangers that this virus still presents. I know we've seen the relaxation of lockdown, but you've only got to pick up a newspaper, switch on the TV to see that other areas of the country, including the areas close to home, are having to reintroduce restrictions following that rise in the number of COVID-related cases. I'm really proud of this city. It's no secret that I'm also a Liverpool supporter, but my duty to the city and the communities of Merseyside will always come first. Yes, there have been many large gatherings in other cities, including illegal raves, but that doesn't mean we have to follow suit. Liverpool has always been known as a city that cares and comes together in a crisis. But we're still in that public health crisis, and I'd urge people to watch the match at home or in the local pub if there's space, but please don't put yourselves, your loved ones and others at risk of contracting this virus by ignoring the current advice not to gather in large groups. We'll have a full policing operation in place at the ground and surrounding area tomorrow night. And my officers will take action if people fail to adhere to social distancing regulations and potentially put other members of the public at risk. Both the club and the City Council have said there'll be a celebration when it's safe to do so. And yes, we collectively understand the desire to celebrate and to show the team our appreciation and to have a massive party, but now is not the time for celebration. We've waited 30 years, so a few more months isn't too much to ask. Too many people have lost their lives already, so please, let's work together to keep our families, friends and neighbours safe. And please, listen to LFC, listen to Mr. Klopp and the players, and trust them. When they say the day will come for celebration, it'll come. But that day really is not tomorrow. Thank you. Mr. Klopp.
Thank you. Sorry?
Yeah, sorry. And Chief Constable, thank you very much. Have you got a response?
No. Okay. What could I say? What much more a person like Andy Cook, who's much more knows much more about the situation. What he didn't say. So I agree 100%. Thank you very much for these words. It's very important that we remind ourselves again that even some things changed. Obviously, thank God. Something changed, but we are not through this, and we have to make sure that we don't put anybody in risk. That's what we try constantly, and that's what everybody should try.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Constable.
Thank
right,
you.
okay. In terms of the press conference now, we go to the normal format. I have Vinny, Simon and Juliet and Carl Markham as always, and I think James Mountford from BBC Merseyside have all asked to ask a question. I can see Ian from TalkSport is waving as well. For those of you who haven't, in the open, if you could use the hands up section, at the conclusion of the open section, for those of you who are part of that section, if you could leave, please, or we will sign you out. And then the UK national newspapers and the Liverpool Echo, if they could stay on the line for a embargo breakout, that would be great. So first couple of questions, Vinny O'Connor from Sky Sports. If you'd like to kick us off, Vinny.
Sure. Hi, Jurgen. I just wondered tomorrow, what will your emotions be when you see Jordan Henderson finally lifting the Premier League trophy?
I don't know yet, obviously, but I tried to be prepared for it. Kind of. It's for me really difficult. It's quite a challenge. There's a football game, a very important football game before that, but I cannot and don't want to ignore that after that football game, whatever happens, there will be a trophy lift tomorrow night, and the boys worked so hard for it. Everybody in this club worked so hard for it, so it should be in the stadium. It should be as good as anyhow possible. I will not disturb that, for sure not. I will be in best spirits. It's on a professional basis, 100%, one of the biggest, greatest days in my life, 100%, to get finally our hands on this trophy, where everybody was waiting so long for. And I think 2-3 years ago, nobody thought it will be possible for us, especially with all the challenges we faced and the challenges we have and the competitors we have. So yes, I will be proud. I think I will be proud of the boys and all what we did together in this club. And it's a milestone, 100%. And as such, we should see it. It's an important day, a very important day, but not the last very important day for us. And so, but we will be in a very good spirit, 100%.
Obviously, another 3 points would make the celebration even better. So what are you expecting from Chelsea, given they've so much to play for in terms of Champions League qualification?
Yeah, look, we know it already for a few weeks, and this is it's an absolute challenge. So being champion and then playing in this league against the teams who fight for so much, with the quality they have and the targets they have still to go for. But this is now especially difficult. So other teams, which I thought about it, how it was when I won something before, and it was always a challenge, but not that long. But it's football, and it's football, and the boys like and love doing what they do. And so far, I'm completely fine with the attitude we showed and stuff like this. That's all good. I expect a good game from us, and unfortunately, a good game from Chelsea as well. And in the end, we will see what happens exactly. It's not the easiest game I ever prepared with the team, to be honest, because there are two things tomorrow night. Usually, I don't have to think about something else apart from the football game, which helps me a lot because I can really be focused. I will try that, and I know the boys will try that as well. In the end, you only can win when we are at 100%, and we will see if that's possible tomorrow night. We have to go for something as well. It's not that we only are there and wait for until the party starts. We have to save a record, a home record, stuff like this. There are a lot of there for us as well, some targets. But again, we have to see how we exactly deal with it. I'm very positive that these boys will put the proper performance out there on the pitch. But if it's enough, we have to show tomorrow night.
And when you say it's been difficult to prepare, because there's two things that you're looking at in terms of the celebration and obviously a game to prepare for as well, what are the kind of things that you've had to overcome with the lads then in this past week?
No. What we said was clear. We have to, as a club, we have to prepare two things. As a team, actually, only one real thing, because the rest will happen when it happens. But we prepared a game. That was all clear. We spoke about it after the Arsenal game directly, and the next morning. What the challenge is for this week, that there are two things happening. Definitely, there will be a game and there will be a trophy lift afterwards. And we here at Melbourne, we have to prepare the game, and that's exactly what we did. So from training, how the training looked, all set, all good. The boys are still on fire. It's all good. It's exactly like it should be. Competition in training and all that stuff. It was all there. But in the end, of course, we saw the Chelsea game, which was pretty good, and they will make a few changes probably, with good changes. And yes, they had a game 2 or 3 days ago. That's all clear. But obviously, they got a proper boost, and so they will come here full of confidence. But they know, obviously, it will not be easy, and we have to make sure that it's not easy for them, and that's what we will do 100%. But in the end, small details which decide games, and we have to be ready to put these things right.
Thank you very much. Simon Crabtree, 2 questions.
Hey, Jurgen. Yeah, you've sort of touched upon it there about how this could be a distraction, and Chelsea obviously want to spoil that party as well. So how is it possible to separate the two then? Because you've dropped 8 points in the last 5, which is more than the previous 40. So how do you get those blinkers back on?
I said it's a big challenge. The only thing I really experienced in this department, if you want, is when Pep Guardiola was at Bayern Munich. We obviously became second for quite frequently with Dortmund, and that exactly the same problem. And so it was always the same, really dominating the league, and then from a specific point of being champion. And from that moment on, they lost some games which they didn't have before, and they struggled then. Bayern with a really good team, even in the Champions League, and because there was nothing to go for in this moment. I'm really happy with how we showed up, but it was a challenge which we probably will not have often in our life, because what I saw, it was nothing obvious. It was not that the boys lost focus here or there. There were little things which you could see in the last game. We were a clear better side against Arsenal. It was a really, really good game from us, and we lost it for obvious reasons, and that's how it is. So I don't have an answer for that. I only can say that we tried everything. We didn't prepare the 2 things. We prepared one thing. We prepared the game, and that's what we still do. And everything will be like always, and then we have to go out there. But in sports and in life, the only thing what you can do always is to make the first step before the second step, and the first step is the game. So, and that's it. But it will not be then in the end influential on whatever, because after that we get the trophy for an outstanding season. So that's how it is, and I'm not willing to make that smaller, because I don't put now extra pressure on the boys, and this will be different. This they all know. They're old enough. They all know that it's more fun if you win the game. But again, there's a proper challenge there, and the Premier League thought make it a bit more tricky. Give them Chelsea. Chelsea has here this kind of history that they were around when last time it didn't happen. With Jose on the sideline, that's probably not in the best, not part of the best memories here in the club. So if we want, we can try to strike back for that. I'm not sure how many players of my team were in the team that time, but it's the situation. Look, I don't have to create some special scenarios or whatever. You know that it will be difficult. Probably you think now in this moment, Chelsea will win the game, and Liverpool will have the trophy lift anyway afterwards. So I don't think we will lose the game. I think we will be in a proper mood for the game as well. But like always, whatever I say here, we have to show it on the pitch, and not now in this press conference. And we can talk about it. That will not change anything for the game. Hopefully the things I tell the players will change a few things or put them right. But they are. I trust them 100%. I trust myself 100%, because I know that I'm completely in the competition mood, and the boys are that as well. But it's not as nothing would happen around the game. So we know that, and that's something we cannot ignore. But we have to put, what do you say, the blinkers on. Yeah.
You mentioned milestone earlier on, and you mentioned Jose as well. So can I take you back to your first ever Premier League win, which was at Chelsea against the Jose Mourinho team? Probably added a little bit of pressure on him, maybe lifted some off you. I don't know. Can you remember how you felt with Premier League win number 1?
My first Premier League win was against... No. What was it against Chelsea?
But it's not at Chelsea when you won 3-1. You came from 1-0 down.
What did we do before? No games before that? Oh, we drew. No, I cannot remember that really. Christian Benteke scored.
He scored right near the end. They scored quite early on, and then Philip Coutinho got a couple, and then Benteke scored last 10 minutes or so.
Okay. No. I remember now, but I don't know what I felt. That they probably relief or whatever, but that's too many things happened between now and then that I really would know exactly what that was about. We played Chelsea, I don't know, 3 times already this year, which is quite exceptional. All the games were really tricky, really difficult, and I respect a lot what Frank is doing there. And now it's for all the other teams. It's about, and we were most often in the situation that we had to win until the last match day to fulfill our dreams or our duties, like with qualifying for the Champions League, or last year then with keeping the door open for a possible championship last year. So that we always had massive pressure until last match, and we did quite well with it. So let's make it as difficult for Chelsea and let's make it possible for us. That's the plan. But I don't think I can use too much of my memories with Chelsea games or whatever.
Okay, Jules, just before we come to you in order then, we've got Juliet, Ian from TalkSport, James from BBC Merseyside, and then Carl from PA. Also, Rick from Manila has asked for a question. Beyond that, I haven't had any other messages or hands up. You need to get in touch with me if you want to do that before the Open finishes. One from you, Juliet.
Yeah, Jurgen, Vinny was talking about emotional you were to him the night you won the title. We all saw what you were like. You said you didn't know how you were going to be, and you've said today you don't know how you're going to be tomorrow. So what's that ride? What's it been like for the last month since you've clinched the title? Because it's been almost a month to actually seeing that trophy and going to be there tomorrow night.
It's obviously different because it was like the decision was made that night, so it was clear from that moment on. I think we were not too surprised that it would happen that night, but maybe we were surprised, but that it will happen in general this season, we were not too surprised. But anyway, and that's why I couldn't. How could I know how much? How influential it will be on myself before you have it, actually. So tomorrow is different. It's obviously different. We are now champion already for a month or so, but that's not about that. It's really about what we all do. It's a little bit like Christmas. If you know already before that you get a specific present, before you have it, there's still some excitement. We are very excited. We are very excited about that. And I never touched a Premier League trophy for obvious reasons ever before. That will be special. I'm absolutely delighted that the boys have this moment because they deserve it more than anybody else. They deserve it because they've worked incredibly hard. They deal with so many setbacks in the last few years. Because we didn't win we won the title this season, but we prepare it already since 2-3 years, and so it was a really long run up to this moment, and it will be 100% emotional again. How emotional, I don't know, because that's how it is with emotions. You have to wait until you feel them.
Thank you, Jules. One from TalkSport, Ian.
Hi, Jurgen.
Hi.
And you're the manager now that everybody wants to be. You're the standard bearer, and your team are the standard bearers. They are the champions, and they won it with such style. And tomorrow night you're facing another young manager who's hoping to build a team and maybe be on the steps of this 2 or 3 year run up to winning the title. Can you just assess the job that Frank Lampard's done at Chelsea and whether you expect them to be one of your challengers next season?
First and foremost, with managers, it's like this: one day you are the one everybody wants to be, and the next day you are the one nobody wants to be. That's there's not a lot of time in between, but no problem with that. Frank is doing an exceptional job, not only at Chelsea now. He did really, really, really well at Derby already. Faced quite a challenge at Chelsea because I think when you are a Chelsea manager, I don't think anybody expected a title this year from them, but everybody expected them to qualify for the Champions League because that's what we all need as clubs. That's how it is. And that in a really, really strong league is always a challenge. Was for us, always will always be for us. That's how it is. I really think he did brilliantly. He was now in the FA Cup final, obviously, which is a big one, by the way. Both young managers in the FA Cup final will win their first major trophy. One of them will win their first major trophy this year, so that's really impressive. But Frank knows that as well. He has a really good team around there on the pitch. That's a proper team, a lot of talent. But he made some interesting decisions. He changed systems from time to time, even during games and stuff like this. So that shows just that he used his playing time not only for moving his legs, that he really learned about the game and knew already about the game before he started managing, which is a completely different animal, obviously. But he looked really prepared for the job, and I respect that a lot. And still young, yeah, but we were all young one day in our life. But he's 100% ready for the challenges out there, and it's nice. It's nice for him being a Chelsea legend, being now there in the hot seat, and I think everybody there wants him to succeed. And yeah, I have no problem with that. Actually, the only problem I have tomorrow night, we have our own targets. That's how it is, and we have to show who has better targets to fight for tomorrow night. And we have an extra challenge on top of that. That Chelsea doesn't have that, but it's actually the best extra challenge you can have in life. That you that you get a trophy after the game, whatever result there will be tomorrow night. So that doesn't happen a lot in your life, at least not in my life. And so that's all okay. But how I said, Frank is doing a really, really impressive job there.
Fantastic. James Mountford from BBC Merseyside. James.
Hello, Jurgen. The last time Liverpool won the title in the game when they were presented with the trophy, Sir Kenny Dalglish came on as a substitute late in that win over Derby. And he'll be part of the presentation team tomorrow night. How pleased are you for him that he gets to be part of this and that Liverpool are once again champions?
Now, first I have to say there's no chance that I will come up as a sub in this game tomorrow night. Maybe that's most important information for everybody. No, it's great. It's absolutely great. Look, directly after the game, when we became champion, when we were there in the hotel and we had all the different duties to do and to fulfill, and talking to all of you, it felt like we had to talk to everybody. But then you saw Kenny and Graham Souness sitting there in the studio, wherever they were, and how much it meant to them as well was just really nice to see. This club touches you, gets you, and will never, even if you wanted, I don't think if you could ever get rid of it. It's just because this club is so big and so emotional, so you stay together forever pretty much. And I'm really happy that Kenny will be around. I said it that night because he deserves it. He's the best nickname and the most deserved nickname probably ever. King Kenny will be in the stadium, will be exactly there where he has to be when Liverpool wins something. And I'm really happy about that. As happy as I was, really, and I mean it, for Steven Gerrard. And we had some messages, exchanged some messages anyway through the lockdown, but then after that as well, because it means so much to him. It means so much to Kara and all these guys, and only as examples for all the players in the past who tried it so hard. They know exactly what this team did. They know exactly how big the pressure can feel when you are close to it. And my boys now, they deal sensationally well with it. And I'm happy that they recognize it, and as much my team recognize exactly how much it means to them, to that generation of players, because they were outstanding as well. And they have a massive, massive Liverpool heart. And so it's for all of them as well.
And we've obviously heard about the advice from the police to the supporters, but how mindful will you be of the fans when you lift that trophy and the presence that they are to this club?
I really hope that our fans know, meanwhile, that we mean it when we say it. It's for you. It's 100% for you. And it's, the best example is that we won this league we had not enough points until then, but we won this league before lockdown. We brought it over the line after lockdown. And again, I'm really happy with what the boys did. Not happy with all the results, but what the boys did, I'm really happy. That shows me there's a massive basis and a good chance that we will stay a really, really good football team. So, but that should show everybody together we can do anything. If we really stick together, then we can do anything. And that's exactly what happened in the last 3 years. And maybe since I'm in, actually, I always felt a massive support. And so I can understand that's a tricky situation. I really can understand. And probably people will say now, after what happened at Leeds, which is a big success as well, congratulations to them, how the pictures look. We all sit there and look at it and think, wow, that's strange now. You don't want to say that's completely wrong, but it is wrong, because we're all human beings. It is wrong. It was not right, and we cannot excuse one wrong thing, or make an excuse for one wrong thing, but another wrong thing that we cannot say, but they did it, so we do it. That's not how we can do it. The situation is really, really different to all situations we ever faced. Longer back than 30 years we ever faced. And again, I promise we will have this party which everybody deserves at an appropriate time. Pretty much the first possibility we will use to do exactly what everybody deserves. But we can do it only if everybody behaves appropriately. That's how it is. That's how it is. In the stadium, we're in a safe place. So watch the pictures. That will be as emotional as possible. That's much more possible than it was before. Months ago, 3 months ago, nobody would have thought it's possible. Now we know it's possible. Now we have it, and now we should really do the right thing again. I only can ask you for exactly that. And again, I understand it's a personal challenge, but we had more and we had bigger challenges in the past with this club, 100%. This time we are really prepared for that. And so stay at home, celebrate there in a safe place with your families and a second household or whatever. And keep it in your mind, we will be together, all together, when it's possible again.
Carl Markham, if you can unmute Carl. Sure.
Hey, Jurgen. It's 3 years to the day since Andy Robertson signed for the club. I'm just thinking, in terms of value for money, he's got to be one of the best, hasn't he?
Yeah. I really don't like that. This kind of like we always talk about players that surprise and that surprise. And Andy Robertson, I'm not sure we would have paid 30 million that time, but it would have been worth it. So if you wanted and all that stuff. So it was not about the money that we took, because your price can be 8 million. If you're not good enough, then 8 million is pretty expensive. It's a lot of money for somebody who's not good enough. So that's how it is. So Andy Robertson we brought in because he was a player we thought who could really help us. It was always clear he has to improve a few things, but a few things were already then that good that we said, okay, come on, let's give it more than a proper try. And I couldn't be more happy because all the things I thought about him, he's much better. He's a much better person. He's a much better football player. He has an incredible personality. So great 3 years, absolutely massive win-win situation for the wonderful lad from Glasgow and for the club as well. So perfect fit.
And just in terms of spending money, Chelsea have already started heavily investing in their squad for next season. I'm just wondering, you think that's a byproduct of the standards you've set this season in terms of how far ahead you are of other teams?
I didn't understand or read the second part of the question. Sorry. What was it? Chelsea spent and then I didn't understand it anymore.
No, in fact, that you're so far ahead of other teams that people are having to spend a lot of money to try and close that gap.
Oh, okay. Look, I'm completely happy with my squad 100%. It was last year when everybody asked us to sign him and stuff like this, and because of our reasons we didn't do it. It's not that we don't want or whatever. So it's just we try to make right decisions constantly. And then COVID came, so changed the situation again, not to the better, for no business in the world, but for football not as well. So it's not that we think we cannot improve even on a transfer basis. We just do what is possible for us and what we are able to do. That's all. Other teams, maybe they invest. I don't know if they know more about the future. We said that already. I have no idea. But the main difference between us and other teams this year was consistency. You saw how tight the game was. We won against Chelsea away, I think 2-1, if I'm 100% right. So now there are, I don't know exactly how many, 25, 30 points or whatever behind us. But there's not a 30-point gap. The gaps you see on a daily basis on the pitch when we play against each other. So, and they can really play football, and they could have won this game as well. But my boys were resilient like mad. They put absolutely everything in the game, and that was the difference. And I don't know if you can buy that on the transfer market. That you get these kind of things. We had to build this as well, so that needed time, obviously. And it's not about spending; it's about having the right team for the next season, but always based on your own situation. So we cannot buy because other teams buy. We cannot buy because everybody wants us to. We can buy if we have the money for it and if we have the need for it and all that stuff. Then we will be there. If one of these things is not there, then we will not, and we will go again, and we will not use it as an excuse. We imagine last year 97 points. All of you, what would have been your recommendation to me? After that, exactly, transfer market wise, who was there on the transfer market? I don't know it even anymore. Who should we bring in to have a chance to close the gap, this 1 point gap to City? There would have been a lot of recommendations out there, I'm pretty sure. We didn't because we didn't. And then you saw what happened. So it's not about that. We will have a lot of tests next year, 100% like we had this year, like we had the year before. We have to make sure that we are ready for that. And some of these things can be decided maybe on the transfer market, but for sure not all of them.
Okay. Last two questions in the open. First of all, Rick from Manila. Rick.
Hi, Jurgen. Good afternoon.
Hello.
What is your reflection on having led Mainz, Dortmund, and now Liverpool back to glory? And are you still holding on to the title of the normal one?
My reflection on Mainz and Dortmund. And Liverpool. So 3 wonderful clubs. Wonderful clubs. 2 red, 1 yellow. That's it. So I enjoyed each second in these clubs. That's probably the best thing I can say. I have a lot of friends there. But there's another very good thing you can say. Yeah, if I would go back now just to watch a game, they wouldn't close the doors, let me say like this, and try to throw the key away, which is really nice to know. But anyway, I was not back a lot. I never watched a Dortmund game in the stadium. I watched exactly 1 Mainz game since I left Mainz in the stadium, and that was in my break. So that's how I see it. In our time on this planet, we have to create relationships because that's what it's all about. And I have still wonderful relationships with people in both of these clubs. And yeah, I said, very, very emotional clubs, all 3 of them. Mainz needed a little bit of a little kick in the beginning, but meanwhile they are very really, really emotional club, and Dortmund was always, and Liverpool was always. So yeah, that's the situation.
Okay, and just before we go to the last question, who's going to be David Lee, who I think from the Singapore media. If those of you who aren't part of the normal breakout that we do, if you don't mind leaving the meeting pretty promptly when we finish this, and those of you who are, if you could stay on, we'll come back to you in a few minutes. So I think we're finishing with David Lee. David?
Right. Hi, Jurgen. Congrats on a momentous season. Can you indulge us? You've talked about Andrew Robertson. Can you indulge us and tell us who do you think will be deserving of the PFA Player of the Year and why?
Thank God I don't have to make this decision. Yesterday I heard there's no, what is it? No Ballon d'Or this year, right? But PFA Player of the Year we will have, and I don't know exactly. So thank God I don't have to make a decision. My job is to deliver, to bring as many players as possible to the election, pretty much. And I think we have a few in contention, so which is very good. But I'm really happy that we played the season we played, and that was only possible because the players played an incredible season. All of them, all the individuals played an incredible season, and so I'm very pleased that obviously it's not 100% clear who will be the PFA Player of the Year, but there will be some Liverpool players around, I'm pretty sure. Cool. Good news.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much, and thank you all. For those of you who are staying on, stay on. We'll come back in a few minutes. For those of you who aren't, if you could press leave, that would be fantastic.